Eric Cantor is the fifth-term congressman representing the 7th District of Virginia, and he joins us now. Good morning, Congressman Cantor. How are you?
Good morning, Imus. Doing great. How's that global warming going for you up there in New York?
It's going fine, Congressman. It's going to be about 9 feet of snow here today.
Again.
So are they just dragging? You're going to be involved in this healthcare summit today, right?
Yes, we are, Imus. And if you remember, maybe almost a year ago, the president had us to the White House for the first healthcare summit. So it seems to me that the White House is pretty good at putting on these summits. Unfortunately, not too good at passing legislation that the American people want.
So is this a dog and pony show and they're just using you or what?
Well, whether it's a dog and pony show or maybe a legitimate opportunity for us to engage in some discussion, you know, we wouldn't be here at this summit if there was a bill being proposed by this president of the White House that the American people liked.
No.
You know, we've seen over and again, Imus, through the town hall meetings that occurred this summer, to the election after election that we've seen over the fall, the people don't like this bill. And it's important, I think, for us to hear today if the president's listening to the people.
I'm just looking at you on the monitor here. You got that Lyle Lovett hair going for you. What the hell's that all about?
I don't know. It seems like lunchtime now.
I mean, you got a nice head of hair, but we ought to get somebody to work on that for you.
I got to probably go get a cut. How about that?
All right, baby. So you're going to. What's the format today? Do you ask questions or explain that to me?
Well, there's been a lot of discussion about how this thing will work, and it seems we'll be sitting around a table. There'll be almost 40 of us, members of Congress, senators from both parties. The president will have I think Secretary Sebelius will be there, the vice president will be there, and we're going to be talking about the subject areas that he wants to talk about. At the end of the day, Imus, though, it really comes down to the fact that although the president's goals are laudable, it's the way that he's going about achieving them have not and are not credible in terms of being able to provide people the health care that they continue to want. And I'm hopeful, though, that we're going to see a president that will listen to the American people finally and start over, and let's go about a more common sense approach to try and bring these health care costs down. That's the only way that we can do this.
So give me some specifics about what you just said about starting over again, bringing health care costs down. How would y'all do that?
Well, what we've got to do is focus on competition. That's how we bring down costs. And from the beginning, Republicans have said, look, if we allow people to purchase insurance across state lines, families will have a choice of not just maybe 3 or 4 plans to choose from, but maybe 30 or 40. That's the best thing you can do for families looking for better health care. Give them a choice. You know, at the same time, we're saying, look, let's get the junk lawsuits out of the examining room. The Congressional Budget Office says that they cost this public an awful lot of money, $50-some billion over 10 years. Why can't we just go ahead and make sure that doesn't happen anymore? So hopefully we'll hear the president say, okay, you're right, let's do that. And we've got some other ways that we think we can bring down costs. We can allow small businesses to pool together so that they can receive the more affordable insurance premiums that some of the larger companies have. You know, right now there's just not a lot of competition, Imus, and this president and the majority in Congress feel the best way to go and promote competition is to have the government go in and dictate that. We all know that doesn't work. It may sound good, it just doesn't work.
Talking with Congressman Eric Cantor, fifth-term congressman out of Virginia here on the Imus In The Morning program, who would not have been out of place in the Buddy Holly band, as I'm sitting there thinking about it. You know? That's what I'm doing.
I'll tell you one thing. I better go get my hair cut then.
No, that's all right. I should talk, man. I'm down in the middle of my back, but well, whatever, you know. So, you think the president knows what he's doing?
I think the president is not listening to the American people. I think that's really what it's about.
But is that because arrogance, or does he just not know? I mean, he seems like he's obviously not stupid. He seems like an okay guy, actually. But My question is he competent?
Smart guy. I mean, listen, smart guy just has a different view of things. I mean,
okay, well, that's fair.
I think he just really feels that, people cannot be trusted, the marketplace has failed, and that Washington needs to fix it all and can do that. I just think that's the view that the White House has taken, and certainly Speaker Pelosi. And it's very different than where I think most Americans are. Most Americans understand this country was built on free markets and people taking care of themselves, the government stepping in if people are truly needy. But we can't have government paying for everything, because government only gets its money from the people who earn it, from the taxpayers.
I can't believe he actually thinks so. I mean, I can't believe that he thinks the people that he knows and that the government knows better than we know, than people know. I mean, he's smarter than that. He ought to be. So.
Well, I mean, for instance, Imus, you've seen lately, like, the proposals that he's come up with to say we're going to stop insurance companies from the excessive rate increases. Everybody likes that, because who wants to have a rate increase? But you can't have Washington just deem it so and expect it to be sustainable, because then who's going to guarantee a patient that their doctor will still be there under the highly regulatory environment the president's proposing? Who's going to guarantee that someone's employer is going to continue to provide the health care coverage and not just throw it on the taxpayer? That's the sort of fiction that the president has been about in his plan.
I don't know. No personal reflection on you, of course, but I don't know. I just don't trust any of you guys. I never think, whenever I talk to anybody on either side of the aisle, that you all are thinking about me. I think what you guys are thinking about is who you can curry favor with and not to offend, so they'll give you money next time you're running for re-election, and that if some legislation gets done for the good of the people in the process, that's fine, but if it doesn't, that's fine too. So that's a very cynical view, I realize. But
well, Imus, there is a frustration out there, and listen, it's warranted in many cases. This town in Washington has continued to increase spending out of control. They have seen over the last year an extraordinary increase in the public's, in the government's incursion into pretty much every aspect of our economy. And I think the public has said that enough is enough. Where are we going to find the trust so that we can see that Washington actually begins to assume a proper, more modest role and actually achieves results? You look at the health care issue, look at this jobs bill that's coming down the pike from the Senate. This is a bill which essentially says to small businesses, you got to go and spend $50,000 in order to earn $30,000, in order to get back $3,000. The small businesses that I know, they're not interested in that type of policy. They're having enough trouble right now trying to keep the lights on, much less go in and spend more money in order for the government to give it back to you.
And then in that vein, I read an article the other day in the New York Times about how the millions of jobs that middle-class Americans have lost, that these people may be out of work for years, that those jobs may never come back.
Well, and there's a reason why we're not seeing small businesses grow right now. And there's so much uncertainty. We've got tax hikes in the offing this year, unless the Congress acts. And we've already heard from Speaker Pelosi, they want to keep the tax cut repeal going. They want taxes to go up, because they feel like some people make too much money, but the rest of us need that money. So the conversation has turned in this town to how Washington's going to best spend money versus how can we focus on growing the economy and let small businesses resume the process of investment and job creation.
You know Laura Ingraham?
I do.
You ever heard of her impression of Nancy Pelosi?
No, I haven't.
Oh, man, it's a scream. So she's a great.
I'll have to ask her.
All right, man. Well, we'll watch you on TV today.
All right.
Get that hair fixed, will you? All right, baby. Congressman Eric Cantor here in the Imus Morning program, 13 to the hour.
Well, that'll be